show. This show is about bringing outlandish and interesting topics to the forefront. From aliens, angels, ghosts, demons, holy encounters, shadow people to Bigfoot to the outlandish. I always say if it's weird, we're here, and now you are too. So you're among friends, many, many friends, even MJ. He's weird. He's the producer. If you don't know who I am, when it comes to the outlandish, I'm someone who has been there, seen that, experienced it, freaked out, found some answers, wrote about it, got over it, and now I'm hoping to help others do the same thing and understand this crazy world of ours. If you dare, I invite you to go to my main website, which is HeidiHollis.com. It's really difficult. You'll see I have a YouTube page and Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff that you can connect with me. And I also have some really fabulous groups on Facebook, Shadow People and Hatman Experiencer group, and then Paranormal Pledge group. So feel free to jump on over there. And my good friend Francine Lyman, she's helping to regulate those lovely groups because sometimes people could get a little wackadoodle or angry or mean, and we just don't put up with that. So, and I want to tell you guys how you can hear this show. A lot of you guys tune in through this fabulous thing called Inception Radio Network app, IRN app. And you can hear me anytime, or anybody else on the network for that matter. You could also just dial a number to hear the entire network at any given time, which is 712-770-8888. And I am never shy to talk to people, so feel free to give me a call during this show. But since most of you listen to us through the app or after the show's already aired live and you listen to the archives, that's okay. I know a lot of you just won't get that opportunity. But the number is 1-888-919-2355. Or you could even go to Skype and find Inception Radio Network on there and send us your comments and questions during the live show, and we'll get to it. And if you're in the Inception Radio Network chat room, which is irnchat.com, and just cap your questions and your comments, and I'll do my best to read them off while I'm doing the live show. Well, guess what, you guys? Guess what tonight is? Tonight is my favorite type of show. What does that mean? The entire show is the Outlandish Corner. I know. I have so many emails, and you guys have been just so gracious in sending more and more my way. It's cool. I enjoy it. I shouldn't enjoy the suffering of people, of course. I don't. And people are dealing with a lot of odd things going on in their lives. But I like to get a grip on what's going on out there. So the Outlandish Corner, what is that? That's where I take your comments, questions, emails, and all that good stuff, phone calls, and give some honest-to-goodness advice without having a guru mentality. I don't think I'm a guru. I might be a swami, but I'm not a guru. Is there a difference? I don't know. So yeah, if you want to send me whatever it is that's going on, I don't care how big your email is either. A lot of people are like, I'm so sorry, it's a big email. I think myself and the listeners enjoy the bigger emails because it really paints a clear picture of what's going on. And I will read the whole darn thing. If you don't want it read on the air, you got to put that and just say, like, first line or something like, don't read this on the air. Because otherwise, I mean, it's fair game. I put it on my site, like, if you're sending here, just make sure you let me know. So the email and my site to write through is HeidiHollis.com and DasOutlander@gmail.com. So DAS Outlander@gmail.com. All right. Moving along here, we're going to just dive on into the Outlandish Corner. And I'm clicking through. Oh, there's my friend Bonnie. She's in there. Hi, Bonnie. She's in the chat room. You guys got to join us. All right. First email says, Dear Heidi, I was looking up shadow people demons and happened to come across your page on the Hat Man. I believe I saw him about 5 years ago, right after my father passed away. Before I saw the Hat Man, I would hear men talking outside my window. But when my boyfriend would go out and look, there was no one to be found. The voices stopped only to be replaced by sheep. Huh? Sheep bang. Sheep bang. Okay, so sheep's making sounds. If I wasn't hearing either of these noises, I would hear my father cry out for me in pain, even though he was already dead and buried. Oh, these sounds haunted me for 3 months. During the 3rd month is when I saw the Hat Man. At first, he would appear in my doorway to my room. Then it was like every night he kept getting closer and closer to my bed until he was standing right beside my bed. I remember feeling very afraid of him, but unable to move or scream. I don't think he was causing it. I believe I was paralyzed with fear. Once he reached my bed, I started attending church and praying. All of the noises and the Hat Man disappeared as though I had imagined it all. To be truthful, I was scared I had gone crazy with the passing of my father. What does it mean to see the Hat Man? Whew. And that's from Arlene. Well, Arlene, that's horrifying. First off, you're talking about your dad and hearing him cry out and hear men talking, and then Hat Man shows up. That worries me that your dad may not be at peace, and it's very scary to say and think of. It's like we hope that our loved ones who have crossed over peacefully, but this is a little weird. I don't know. I'm gonna just tell you something, but it's like, you ever see these shows and they talk about voodoo and how they go and they dig up dead people and they try to do things over the bodies and you'll see like scratch marks on the inside of coffins, but they know the person was dead when they buried them. I mean, it's just, to me, the thought of my body being put in the ground, it's just disturbing. Not just because, ashes to ashes, but I just feel like you're still vulnerable with your guard down as a dead person. Isn't that weird? I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's like ghosts hang out around dead bodies. Demons hang around dead bodies. Cemeteries, you just don't want to go there. Why are souls and spirits and demons and all these things attracted to where dead bodies lie? Just burn me up and sprinkle me or something. I just don't know. I just don't know. And you're saying that your father was buried, and here you're hearing him cry out and happen. I am worried about your dad's soul. And now I'm a big believer in praying for those who have crossed over. I really believe they can hear us, just much like a person that's comatose. You'll hear them say when they wake up, I heard everything. And it's like, that's impossible. Well, you're at home praying, but I heard you. I think that, comatose people are kind of in a similar state, but they're sometimes allowed to come back over. And I can't help but to think that when, people are in that in-between state, they can hear us. They can hear us if we pray to them. Right? So, or pray for them, speak to them, that type of thing. So, what does it mean to see the Hat Man? Oh boy, it could mean a lot of different things. I have a problem with this one element too, sins of the father type of thing coming after people in the family. But it seems to be there's kind of evidence for that. Like there's patterns. Hat Man travels in families. It's like, well, he's gone. Let me go see what his kid is up to. I don't know why it is. Is it just genes? I just, the Catholic Church in particular has this thought of nothing is uninvited. So how do we let our guard down to let such things come our way? I don't think I'd let my guard down and let this freak come my way either. But he did. I mean, was it a bad dream that you happened to give permission and he cheated and voila? There are a lot of different reasons why Hat Man comes around. It could be just to be a rotten piece of crap. It could be to be a pervert. It could be to act like he's a guardian and slap somebody that's abusing you. There's so many different things. So deciding what that is, I did put a book together called The Hat Man to try to help people decide for themselves and see what category they fit into. Are they such a bright light, or do they stink? It's just, I mean, it's keeping it real. I'm not a person to judge now. I mean, I have seen some rotten things. Was I rotten? I didn't think so. So, I mean, it's best to, figure it out and look down the line. And does it really matter if you could get rid of him? And it's weird. You guys ever play red light, green light as a kid? That's like a really, playground kind of game. And it's like you spin around and you're like, green light. And people are supposed to come slowly to you. But when you say red light, they're supposed to stop and freeze. It sounds like what Hatman was doing. Is like every night he's a little bit closer to you, a little bit closer. It's like he was checking the ground to be like, is this okay? Is this okay? Like a pervert would do. Is this all right if I do this? Is this okay? Yeah, you should have put your guard up. But you found you started going to church and praying, and all that crap stopped. So I'd imagine he got the picture that, gosh, this one just isn't weak enough for me. Darn. Oh, well. So good on you. All right. My friend Russ has joined the chat room. Hi there, Russ. And there's Max, and some other people are popping in. All righty. Moving on to the next email. This one says, "Here, Heidi." Dear Heidi. I said, "Here, Heidi." That was pretty funny. I just ran into some of your interviews online and your website yesterday. I have had many experiences with jinn in my life, like you. My wife as well. I have even had physical confrontations with them and felt them. I found 95% of what you said to be very accurate, and to be the same as what I already knew and what I gathered from looking into this topic more. Thanks for your work in this field. I look forward to learning more about your stories and reading your books in the near future. Regards, Hassan. Oh, thank you, Hassan. So the jinn are like these, they're identical creatures to shadow people and what Hatman does. So they're known in the Muslim faith to be essentially able to shapeshift and mess with people. And that's exactly what these things do. So tomato, tomato, jinn, shadow people, Hatman. Evil is evil. I always say it's like, how can you say? It's like, is there honor among thieves? I don't know. Is there? I don't think so. I think if they could get a leg up on each other, they would. And these rotten scoundrels will surely do that against people, against their own kind. I mean, why not? That's just adds more to their fun. So thank you, Hassan, for taking the time to write. That was really, really kind of you. All right, moving on. This one says, "Dear Heidi, my name is Jules, and I have seen a Hatman. I was about 6 or 7, and I had fallen asleep in the TV room. I catch Saturday morning cartoons first. I had left the bathroom light on and had fallen asleep. I woke feeling weird. I looked up and saw a tall man, but he has two-dimensional and see-through. They meant was two-dimensional. I could tell he was in a trench coat and wearing a hat. What frightened me most was that where his eyes would have been were 2 holes that I could see right through. Oh, that is just nasty. I was terrified and prayed. Then he walked right past me through the wall. His gait was completely normal and human-like. I don't know why he was there. It was like he was visiting a moment in time, if that makes sense. I'd really like any input you have on this. It isn't something always on my mind, but it is something I will never forget. And any insight as to why he was there is appreciated. Thanks, Jules." Oh, boy, freaking Hatman. He's been busy. Again, why would he have popped up? And why does he pop his eyes out sometimes? That's just to add a little more flavor to his disgusting ways, isn't it? I mean, I don't know what's worse, having holes where his eyeballs should be, or glowing red eyes, or solid black ones. He mixes it up, but when he plucks his eyeballs from the holes, so you can look through. That's really gross. That's nasty. That's just nasty. That'll singe the memory of a 6 or 7 year old. That's for sure. I can imagine forgetting that one. I hate to laugh, but it's just like, man, he's such he just gets on my nerves. All right, so so he walked right through. Sometimes it seems like a lot of these emails and stories that I've heard over the years, it was just he was going to the neighbor's house, and your house happened to be in the way, and he was just like, okay, I'm just gonna walk through here and hope nobody notices, because it didn't seem like you were his target. Otherwise, he would have probably put his eyeballs in and had a gander at you. But he was just passing through. I had a patient once who told me, it's so funny to me when any of my patients will say, I saw a ghost once. I'm like, oh, really? What they look like? And they describe the Hat Man. And oftentimes, and like this one lady told me, she's like, well, I was watching television, and this man just walks through my wall and walks in front of my TV, blocking my view, and walks through the door that was closed. I'm like, this happens so often. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I think it's like sometimes people are just more sensitive to seeing him, and he's just trying to get over to the neighbors, and it just happens that way. So, I don't know. But it's so strange. So many times I'll read these emails, and I have many people, just like yourself, who saw something like that when they were really young, and they dread for the rest of their lives that they'll ever see him again. And they just hold it there. You don't think about it all the time, but it's there. And it's like, gosh, I know one guy who saw him just one time, and he was in such fear for the rest of his life that he felt like Hat Man ruined his life, because he was just, he developed anxiety and everything over it. It's like, wow, that's sad. I don't know. But again, why he popped up the way he did, only the devil knows. I wouldn't say God knows. That rotten, low-down guy knows. Okay, so all right, moving on. This one says, Dear Heidi, when I was 14, I was walking home at about 5 a.m. Very wayward teen. Oh, I see, 5 a.m.? Please. When I felt multiple presences around me. I remember them, quote, speaking and hearing voices, but couldn't really remember what they were trying to communicate. They were extremely tall and extremely slender and totally shrouded in blackness. I then felt myself suddenly enveloped in darkness, like walking into a black hole. I felt as though I was tumbling through darkness for quite some time until my vision was restored and I saw a street light again. It was an extremely vivid experience, and I felt as though I was spoken to directly, but unable to understand. I'd be grateful if you could clarify for me. Is this a typical shadow person experience? Regards, Casper. Oh, isn't that's a cute name, like the friendly ghost. Is that typical? That is not typical. No. Mm-mm. Especially here you are. Well, hold on. You were pretty isolated, though. That's not a typical teenage thing at the young age of 14 coming home at 5 a.m. So for them to approach you, if you were a very wayward teen, as you put it, that's not uncommon. The way that they did it, boy, they sure were hoping to encapsulate you. That's kind of terrifying, actually, because these beings, I think they're responsible for a lot of people who have gone missing, people who have been killed. And I don't know why they would let you go versus others. I don't know why they take others down a little bit further. Maybe they saw that they couldn't take you down. But your whole reality, like you got sucked into a black hole and enveloped. I've heard of that happening where like people have been pulled through their wall through like a dark tunnel type of thing, as if they were being brought underground even. That's just really icky to think of. And people in their dreams. But here you are walking home, and you got totally enveloped in something like it was trying to encase you. I don't know what its intention was, but it surely wasn't good. I don't understand. And you said you were tumbling through darkness for quite some time, and then your vision came clear. I have to say, I've had, how could you say, waking dreams, like where it seems so real. It's like unbelievable that it didn't happen. And I've had that where it's like, I can't see. Why can't I see? This is like, I can't see my hand in front of my face. And you feel you're being enveloped in absolute darkness, like something is trying to oppress you. I have felt that. But in that kind of reality, oh, hold on, I did have one that it wasn't quite like that, though. But here, I'll tell you really, really quick. This is just freaky. I was a kid. I was sharing my bedroom with my sister, and we shared a big bed. I cannot remember how old. I mean, I don't know. I must have been maybe 10 or something. And this one night, my sister and I woke up at the same time, and we were both terrified. And I'm like, "Are you awake?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "It's really dark in here." She's like, "It is." And we both felt threatened, like, for some reason. We could not see our hands in front of our faces. And I'm like feeling around the bed, and I'm like, "We should turn on the closet light so at least we have some light in here." And she's like, "Yeah, you go do it." I'm the older sister. So she had to be about 8 years old or something, or I don't know, maybe a little bit older. And I'm like, "Okay," and I'm like, I'm touching one edge of the bed, and I'm reaching for the wall to get to the closet. And I go to the wall. And this is so weird. Okay, so there's things hanging on the wall. I have pictures and stuff, and there's a door, and there's a big book shelf, and I touch the wall, and I'm going to reach for the closet door, and I'm like spreading my arms on this wall, and I'm thinking I'm gonna knock a picture down, and it's completely black, and I don't feel anything but this wall. And I can hear my hands, and I feel them brushing all the way down the wall, and I am walking and walking. My room was not that big. and my sister's like, "Turn it on already." And I'm like, I remember just being like, and I'm still, my arms are spread out wildly, feeling on this wall, trying to find a door, to find anything, and it's just a smooth wall that seems to go on forever and in both directions. And then I remember I gotta get back to the bed because I'm terrified. Nothing is there. I'm like, nothing's there. I'm like, I call my sister, and she's like, "I'm over here," and I'm like, and I remember trying to run and just like jump on the bed, even though I miscalculated, of course, and I kind of fumble a flop onto the bed, and I'm like petrified, and I'm breathing heavy. I'm like, and she's like, "Why'd you get the light?" And I'm like, "It's not there." She's like, "What do you mean it's not there?" And I'm like, "The door, nothing." She said, "I could hear you, and you're getting so far, and I could hear the wall." I'm like, it's not there, It was so weird. I remember us hugging, and I think we just fell asleep that way. And, just, I don't know. It was like a black void, much like what you're talking about. And we felt threatened and startled and worried and confused. And I still don't have an explanation for it. Was something trying to suck us in? I think potentially. I mean, because it sure did feel like it. I don't know, and I always like to bring up these weird instances to my sister to see how much she remembers, because we grew up in a haunted house. By the way, this was not the haunted house. That's the more disturbing part. My parents, actually, we had so much crap that happened in the haunted house that they purposely went out of their way and bought a piece of land and built a house. One of the reasons being so they would never have to deal with any unearthly weirdness ever again. Well, it seemed to follow me. Everybody else seemed to be okay, but my younger sister and I, we did experience some things together, but not to the extent of that haunted house. But why? Why? I don't know. I don't know what that was and why it was trying to take you down. But I will tell you this. I've had several people write me who have been confronted as they are by beings trying to grab them. That's not so highly uncommon, but it's that shrouding, that complete darkness. And one thing I will tell you too, I don't know if you saw that movie, Haunting in Connecticut. Well, a Haunting television series, if you see a Haunting in Connecticut version of that, I think it was 1,000 times more horrifying than the big blockbuster film. Because what was in there? Oh, let's see, big black clouds that try to envelop people. Shadowy entities, something yanking people around. Watch that documentary. And there's 2 parts to it. And, when I went to see, and I mean, that episode, those 2 episodes, really, I found them to be so disturbing. And then to go to watch the film, and it was like a whole other story. I'm like, what is this? Just kind of like the from the book to the movie, Fire in the Sky. Just like the actuality of what took place is so different than after Hollywood gets their hands on it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just night and day. Absolutely night and day. So, you know how they always say the book is better? Yeah. How about the truth is better? Stranger than fiction. Reality is stranger than fiction. So, alrighty. I'm going to try to pop in a short one before we go to break. I got a bunch of them here. Okay. This one says, Dear Heidi, I just saw you wrote about the shadow people. I never knew this was a bigger thing because I did not research it, but I have had visits from him my whole childhood! ! Nobody believed me, and I have some serious spooky stories. It's great to see that I'm not the only one. Just wanted to say hi and keep up the good work. Sandro. Oh, well, thank you, Sandro. But gosh, if there's some stuff you're dealing with, I would hope that, there's somebody that you're talking to about this, because it's not a good thing to deal with it alone. How sad, people don't realize, gosh, somebody had sent me a link about how people are manifesting these things for themselves, and because they heard of it someplace else, it's coming to them. It's a law of attraction, and it's not in existence until you create it. And, the whole Catholic thing, ignore the evil, and it will disappear because it's not real, or something along those lines. And I'm like, well, that's fine and dandy, but what do you tell somebody who recalls being attacked when they were 2 years old, who had never heard or seen of such a thing? I mean, it's weird. How is that? How did the 2-year-old or 3-year-old or toddler come up with this stuff on their own? Please do tell. Please do tell, because I don't know how to categorize that. Then it's like people are doing this all on their lonesome. I get these emails all the time saying, "Gosh, I'm not alone. Thank goodness." But when I first came forward with Shadow People and Hatman, I hoped I was alone. All right, you guys, we're going to get to our first break. You're listening to me, Heidi Hollis, the Outlander, and we will be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to me, Heidi Hollis, the Outlander. Remembering always, if it's weird, we are here, giving you advice and insight on outlandish topics, and the phone lines are always open, 1-888-919-2355. And tonight, is one of my favorite shows because I like getting to people's emails. So it's all Outlandish Corner night. I have so many emails and they are backing up. And honestly, you can't make this stuff up. The things that people are dealing with, freaky. And you will not hear of these things anyplace else but here. All right. I've got a message here from Pana, a.k.a. Diana, in the chat room. And she sent, coworker told me that her house was haunted. Ghosts, 3 children, and 2 shadow men. One lanky and one stocky. She had a dream where the ghost children were telling her that the lanky shadow man was using a flashlight to entice the ghost children to the light. They did not want to go. Kind of freaky. Even ghosts aren't safe from the shadow people. My coworker woke up squinting from the flashlight. Oh, well, now that's interesting. I always tell people, it's like show me any haunting, I'll show you shadow people. My understanding and what I was taught that shadow people are behind souls being trapped in any haunted location. So that's why they're often there. And you'll sometimes get these EVPs of, oh, here he comes, or watch out, here he comes, always angry. Then they get these EVPs of get out. And, though they might have these other, like, seemingly more innocent, like, sounding voices, and then that really horrible one. So it sounds like one of them may be trying to guide the poor kids that are stuck there. In the meantime, there's something more demonic that's holding them there. So I don't know. It does sound like there's a bit of a battle going on. And to have a dream of that too, that is crazy. That is just really crazy. I'm trying to read this again. Just the one stocky, no, lanky shadow, flashlight to entice to go into the light. Okay, yeah, okay. So yeah, it's wild to me when people have the after effects of a so-called dream. Like you're saying, she's squinting, coming out of this dream. Like, what would have been really weird is if she had that. What's that? That after image that you get that like burns in your retina and you see it for a little bit. Now that would have been weird. Ask her if she had that. But yeah, it makes me wonder that there's some kids there. One thing that I know that Pana, my friend here, what she knows the great blessing, how to go around the house and to clear something out. So get on it, Pana. Tell him to get through and bless that house. Let those poor beings out of there. That's horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. All right. Moving on to the next email. Dear Heidi, wonderful book, Heidi. I was wondering why something so dark would be visiting my daughter. She has a true light about her, very much a sweet Christian child. My grandmother's house was haunted with what we all believed were benign spirits. My best friend, when I was 12, and I heard a moaning and then saw orbs bouncing around. I've never experienced dark entities, though. My daughter has seen shadow people since December, which is when I brought a lot of items over to my house for my deceased mother. She died first, and deceased stepfather's house. I am not the ultimate judge, but he was a very disturbed and negative person. I was wondering if it had anything to do with the items. A TV we put upstairs turned itself on when she was up there. It just coincides with bringing those items home. Anyways, thank you for writing this book. I don't want to scare my daughter any more than she may be. She doesn't even want to talk about it for fear they and or Hatman will come back. I just tell her that she has the authority of Jesus and she can rebuke anything bad. Your book has been very helpful. Thank you very much. And the name is Deem. Oh, well, thanks, Deem. That's a different name. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. I'm assuming it's the Hatman book that you read, and I think I tried my best to be as clear as I possibly could in that book to tell people how and why somebody who does seem so darn bright and cheery would have such horrible things be attracted to them. And, how special that she has somebody like you in her life to help her to interpret what's going on, and took the time and the effort to get a book to read up on these things. And that's awesome that you tell her about her power with Christ behind her. So, hey, that's a big bonus all the way around, in all honesty. And I'm just trying to see, my brain is not working tonight. You know what happened? I didn't drink coffee earlier. I'm like, my brain isn't connecting. I'm like, oh, well, what was I thinking? I didn't have my coffee. It's here in front of me now, and it hasn't quite created those synapses that usually work. Oh, pray for me. Oh, God. Anyway, oh, yes, you're talking about items brought into your house. That's a common thing. It's like, gosh, can't we like inherit anything? I mean, why do people have to have like their baggage attached to their stuff? My goodness, if that were the case, I wish that every thief that there ever was gets totally like bamboozled and haunted for life, okay? Because, man, I hear about this a lot. It's like I brought something into my house. I thought it was safe. And all of a sudden we started seeing things. And it's like, dang these freaking demons and ghosts who see that as an entrance point. I mean, shoot. Why? Why does that happen? Well, you brought it in your house, but you were bringing a TV, for crying out loud. I mean, what? Do you throw the TV out? I mean, really? That's a nice TV. That's not fair. I mean, the best I could say to do if you don't want to throw the TV out and other items, gather them together, get your holy water, or get some wonderfully infused spring water with some sunshine in it, and say some good prayers and try not to sprinkle too much to short-circuit it out. I mean, because I don't know. It's like it's like, you ever go to a psychic and they're like, give me something you really like. It's like, well, hold on. What has it got? My mojo's on there? It's like, yes, give me your mojo. So there is something to it. I don't know if we got enough like of our dead skin cells tucked into the seams. I don't know if a good sanitation of it would do, but it's like, you ever like have a car that you really, really dig and you swear it has a personality, you might give it a name. My Chevrolet was Chevy, like in Chevy Chase. And and it's like, it's got something that you just connect with and you talk to it. Hey, how's it going? I really like you. I don't know why. But it just seems like things that we own take on a life of their own. And I just, and they become more than just a possession. Maybe we possess them. In two different meanings. Okay. I'm looking here in the chat room. Pana is saying, same coworker had an encounter with the stocky man 2 weeks before. I guess, these shadow beings, they come in any shape or size. So it's like, oh, she ignored your suggestion to cleanse her house. Well, then she must love her shadow people, Pana. That's all I can say. I mean, it's so absolutely frustrating with my close friends and family and even coworkers. I will tell some of them, well, I've told especially family, like, be on your P's and Q's, I kind of dabble in these things and I address these horrible topics. And, my friends and family coworkers have been messed with, attacked, or just, just random things. And it's like, they wait to bless their home. They wait to listen to me. And then they get these horrible things going on. And I'm just like, whenever you're ready, do the blessing. And, what do you want it to say? I mean, literally, one of my sisters waited, and I told her what I was going to say, that it was going to threaten to kill her. And guess what? It did. And then she blessed her home. Yeah. some people. I don't know why. I just don't know why. But, we could bring a horse to water, all that good things. All right. Anyways, moving on. Hold on. And I wanted to thank Deem here for writing. I'm happy to hear that the book was helpful. And, if you got Jesus, you're good. You're good. Rebuke. All right. Moving on to the next email. This one says, Dear Heidi, I saw the Hat Man a while ago. At first, he would just stare at me when I was in bed with my daughter. Oh, he's such a... One night, he felt more Argo and came in my room. What does that mean? Also, he appeared larger and more ominous. I haven't seen him since. What bothers me is what I have seen after. My best description is a large Egyptian cat. Oh, no. From research, I think she is the cat goddess from ancient Egypt, also known as the Eye of Ra. Just before that, I saw little black kittens and one white kitten running through my house. Not real kittens. Do you have an idea what she is and what she might want? Well, that's something different. I know that cat god to be called Bast, B-A-S-T, or Bastid, B-A-S-T-E-D. And, how can I say, I had some run-ins with this thing too? Yeah. I am, I don't know how to put into a one category to say, oh, this is how shadow people are going to approach you. I don't know if did it let your guard down because you saw a little black demon cat running versus a big nasty hat man? It's like, I don't know. I don't think so. I knew that I didn't have a black cat at the time when I started having some of that stuff going on, but shadow cats are another form that they take on. And the cat god, Bast or Bastard, it's a whole other reality when, psychics are always interesting to me. It's like I have never put my cash into saying this is the best darn psychic you'll ever come across, but there have been some that have blown my mind. Not that I've paid for a lot of people, but when I would go to conferences and people would approach me and say the darndest thing. It's like, did you know there's a cat that's hanging around you? And then that name Bast or Bastard would come up. I'm like, what is going on here? Now, that is freaky. There's no way that others would know this. And it was just this common thing. And it seemed wherever I went, there's a cat. There's a cat. There's a cat. And they'd be watching me. And I'm like, this is so bizarre. So, but this type of black shadowy cat thing, it's just another form that they come in. I don't know why they'll do that. And I just, I had a really horrifying black shadow cat encounter that I just, you think I'd lose sleep over this stuff, but I sleep pretty good. Got Jesus, so it works. It's better than hot cocoa. So why this is, it's just, it's a strange thing. But Hat Man, he has little minions that work for him. And I'm not talking about those, they're not that cute. Those yellow minions, though, when you think about it, minions, they go to work for bad people in that cartoon. Minions are demons. And these are now kids' toys. They are playing with mini demons. Minions. All cute. Making the cute little noises. Yeah. Why is that? Couldn't it have been anything else? Couldn't it have been anything else? Couldn't it have been called anything else? The helpers, of the bad guys. I mean, nope, they let us know they were demons who search throughout time trying to find new rulers. Yeah, they're just pulling us all down with them, aren't they? But yeah, anyways, why this cat demon is coming your way, I don't know, but does it matter? Get rid of it. Bless your house. That's the best that I could tell you for these types of rotten, low down, good for nothings. And, I always promised myself I would look more into that cat god, but I'm just glad that they are not coming around anymore, because I just walk right through the walls and just meow even. Yeah, really disturbing. All right, moving on. This one says, Dear Heidi, how to even begin? I will start by telling you that I was 10 or so at the time. The evening was unlike, I think they mean, any other before bedtime, besides an argument I had with my father causing me to go to bed early. It was early, like 2 to 3 a.m., when I awoke from where I lay in bed with the door open. I could see down the hallway, light from the street slightly illuminating a part of the hallway, the source being my parents' bedroom down the hallway, 2 doors on the left. As my eyes adjusted, I saw what looked to me a person down the end of the hallway. It was dark, and I figured it was my elder brother, 10 years my senior, going to the toilet or something. Only then did I realize, as I called his name, that it wasn't him. I then thought an intruder had broken in the house. The figure slowly turned around towards me and proceeded towards my room. I locked up in fear, and with every blink, it got closer. It was hooded, cloaked, had red eyes at that time, no legs, and moved like it floated. Its body had no solid shape, like a black, smoky silhouette. It was at the door, so I hid under the blanket in fear. Under the blanket, I felt a sharp feeling in my left side, as if I had been stabbed, and for some reason, knowing something was standing beside the bed, I sprung up and confronted it face to face. Ooh-wee! Unable to move or speak, the room was ringing and humming. It unveiled its hood. Oh, come on. But all I can remember of its face in the darkness were the large, knobbly things all over it. Oh, God, it had elephant man syndrome? What are we talking about? Around the perimeter of its eyes were flashing yellow and black in intervals. This is just getting worse and worse. What is going on here? That's all I can remember of that part of my story. The rest of my experience is very trance-like. I suddenly found myself pacing up and down the hallway uncontrollably. Of course, I woke everyone up. Eventually, I stopped at the end of the hallway, very much near the spot I first sighted it. Looking down towards my room, it appeared coming out. With the lights on, I could see it wasn't alone. It moved very strangely again towards me. My family grouped a few meters behind me. Oh boy. Whatever it was composed of emanated around it and the structure of hallway. I don't get it. It confronted me once again, demanding something from me, but I couldn't understand it, and it was being threatening. I could hear what I think was my mother say to my father, "Oh my God, Michael, what is that?" My God. What? In a hysterical expression as my elder brother, sister, and younger sister stand. Audience. Okay. I wanted it to end, but I had no control whatsoever. I'm not much of a godly church-going person, nor is my family. But at a sudden moment when I thought everything was lost and I was going to die, an unidentified woman's voice I could hear defended me, warned me not to succumb to its demands. But I think I did. The reason being that in my perspective, it started directing its influence towards my little sister. The voice instructed me to pronounce the words, "Hail Mary" for my sister and "Jesus" for myself. My memory is very broken. But as it faded away and I awkwardly returned to my room, I heard, quote, "You will not remember this." Quote, "If you remember, you will die." Quote, "We are stronger than you." Quote, "You will," and then he puts forget the words, "if they help you remember." Everyone I tell this to has a hard time believing. I understand their point of view. My family won't speak of the event. For years after, I would experience unpleasant nights. I feel like something is missing. I'm sorry if my literacy is bad. I hope you can make sense of it. Best regards, Jeremy. Okay, I gotta breathe. What? What? Just when I think I've heard it all. What? Oh, okay. Okay, I got chills. I don't know. That is, this is just crazy. The things that go on. Okay, I'm going to tell you, Jeremy. There is a drawing on my website of a hooded creature that has like these, it's kind of a yellow, spinny, like light coming from its face. And I didn't experience that thing. My college roommate did. And she said every time she went to look at it, this little spinny light would, and it sounds very much like your creature, a hooded creature of a sort, would force her head to turn the other way, and she would try to look at it, like kind of like to confront it, and it would force her head away. And this is crazy. I don't. That's just when you said had red eyes and the flashing lights around, and you felt like you were like being like zombified and automatically doing something. This tells me that this was not like a typical, it's not a shadow person, just so you know. This sounds more like an alien being. And same like with the one that came after my college roommate. They're evil. They are closely related to the other evil called shadow people, Hat Man, all of them and stuff. But this thing is a lot, it's physical. It's a physical creature. Why it did what it did and how it just was bold enough to take on your whole family and try to put the whole whammy on them, and the whole "you will not remember this" and the threat, that's alien. Aliens do that. That's not so much of a demon thing, because they seem to like when people remember them. But to say we are stronger than you, and you felt that there was more than one there. But isn't that something? That voice that told you to pray, say the words of Hail Mary for your sister, and then Jesus for yourself. Even in the face of something, quote, alien, you could kick its behind with Jesus. God, hello. Why is that? Why is that? People always tell me, I shouldn't say people always tell me, other researchers who swear they have all the answers will say, "Oh yeah, Jesus doesn't work. You're just waking up after the abduction happened. That didn't actually happen. It didn't actually work though. Jesus is defenseless against these aliens." Oh, the heck it is. Give me a freaking it just drives me up a wall. But anyways, anybody that tells you that they have all the answers, run from them. That's all I'll say. But yeah, this is a story that is. My friend had experienced quite extensively, and it really, really rattled her after seeing such a thing. And I'll tell you, at the exact same moment, I had quite the opposite experience that she did. And I'll tell you, I was absolutely encased in pastel color webbing. Like I was being cocooned and protected by whatever was going on in that apartment at the time. And I thought, wow, this is beautiful, while she was being horrified and screaming at this thing, and she felt like it had taken over. You know what? I'm going to touch on that again a little bit after the break. You are listening to me, Heidi Hollis, the Outlander, and we will be right back. Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to me, Heidi Hollis, the Outlander. Remembering always, if it's weird, we're here. And boy, did we have a weird one just now. You guys, if you missed that one, you've got to scroll it back and listen to that one. I wanted to touch a little bit more on this one because it, whoa, it's just, and I believe you, just so you know, just for the record, I believe you. It's the revelation. It's like, I don't know, you put your hand in the garbage disposal and it turns on type of feeling. That's what I was getting as I'm reading this, as it just got worse and worse. And it's like, just to highlight, the person jumped out of the bed to confront something that came down the hallway at them, only for it to unveil, take its hood off. And it had knobs all over its head. And around the perimeter of the nasty eyes, it was flashing yellow and black in intervals that put them in a trance-like state to cause them to pace up and down the hallway uncontrollably, woke up the whole family. They jumped behind him. And the freaking thing comes forward and is trying to convince them to give up something. Give up what? Now, one of the things that I highlight in my book, The Secret War, is that these beings ultimately are looking to take control, to own you. Yeah, that thing called the soul that we hardly regard. Yeah, that thing. They want it. Why? Why did Christopher Columbus do what he did? Who knows? Just to say they could, and because they can, and because you would give it up. And then this voice comes over and says, don't give them what they're asking for. But they feel as if they may have, because they feel like something is missing. And if I remember right, the family is not very much in the angle of anything like church-wise. I'm not a churchy person, but I'm Christian. And my faith is what it is. And it's just there. It's just like my right arm is right there. I don't deny it. I've got a right arm. Why would I deny I've got this? So some people just don't have that kind of, I don't know. They don't look to their right arm or their faith or their soul. And these things realize that. And I don't know, that little part probably in your belly button somewhere, and your solar plexus is where your soul kind of connects. And maybe it just looks a little bit looser for them because they're able to kind of eyeball things a little bit better. And they think if they just jiggle it a little bit, and it'll come loose and convince you, like, come on, give me a hand here. Can I take that? You're not using it. You don't even regard its existence. Let me just get a screwdriver. You got one? So he feels like he didn't say no fully, but it turned its attention towards the little sister, and probably an angel was just like, say your prayers. So Hail Mary, I don't know the Hail Mary. I'm not Catholic. So I'm assuming this person must have some kind of Catholic background, some kind of faith in them to say, oh, I know that one. Okay, I'm going to say this one, Hail Mary, full of grace, something, I don't know what it goes, something like that. And and to use the name of Jesus for himself. And it's not uncommon when you're facing a creature of this type that your memory gets broken up, because that's a very big alien tactic. And the threats. You're going to die if you remember this. Don't expose us, you won't remember this. Well, there's something about the human potential. And these pieces of crap think that we don't realize that, and that God didn't make us equipped already, whether we acknowledge it or not, that we can handle their BS. We can take it. It's okay. We can take a good beating. I don't know about you, but yeah, I've been through some crap. You could do it. You could do it. But anyways, I put up the link in the chat room of the being that my college roommate had dealt with that looks very much like, well, it just reminds me. It's a similar tactic, and the spinny and the flashy whatever, trying to hypnotize and make you disregard and do things that you are not in control of, because she said her head kept snapping away from it. Like it didn't want to be seen, and it kept snapping her head away. And I woke up because I felt a presence in my room, and saw, it was just one of the most beautiful things. I'm wide awake. And I saw like, it looked like spider webbing almost, but it wasn't. And it was just like streams of just like, just strings. And they all were pastel, and they're like pinks and blues and yellows. And they were kind of alive and kind of moving. Like the lights were moving up the strings. And I'm like, wow, this is so pretty. This is just gorgeous, and I'm like, this is amazing. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see, nothing else going on. And then the lights, like the strings disappeared. And that's when I heard my college roommate screaming across the other side of the apartment. And I'm like, huh? What the heck? What's going on? And here she tells me of this horrific story of seeing this hooded creature and how it moved her head and seemed to want something of her as well. I'm trying to recall it. It probably was something along the same lines. That little soul thing that might be loose in some people. Who knows? But yeah. But Jeremy, I want to thank you so much for writing. That was, every once in a while you get these doozies, and it's like, where'd that come from? I'd say, Jeremy, you saw what helped save your sister too. So dig in a little bit to that faith thing and have a look. I am finally about to put out the Other F Word book. If you go to theotherfword.com, and that is, how to find your faith and laugh at yourself while trying. That's the title of the book. So the Other F Word, How to Find Your Faith and Laugh at Yourself While Trying, because it's so necessary, and people are so serious out there. And sometimes you don't have to be so hard on yourself when it comes to your faith. You really don't. Breathe with it. Breathe. Okay. All right. I'm moving on. Let's see what this one says. I just clumped all these emails here in this Word document. I hope this is a separate one. This is, I can remember when I was young, I played in front of mirrors while scribbling in books. Recently, I found a book that I felt I needed to find. Okay. It was the Book of Life, animals, mammals, everything, etc. On the front cover, I had written my name and drawn a strange symbol. The symbol I had drawn turned out to be the alchemy symbol of sulfur, which represents fire and brimstone. Oh, gosh. The symbol is also used in Anton LaVey's The Satanic Bible. Now, how would you know? Okay. On the 365th page, The Living World of Animals, 1970, titled Animals in Human Culture, there is a full-page picture of the Hindu mythological god Vishnu. He is portrayed in 11th century bronze to kill his enemy, the Demon King, as it states in the text below the picture. Also, the picture is torn in half, barely holding to the book. Huh? That's a different kind of message email to get. They didn't put their name to it either. Okay. It makes you wonder, people talk about these, mystical mirrors and the different properties that can come through them. I'm telling you, when I have to go to the bathroom at night, you don't catch me looking up in the mirror. I know about things that could come through mirrors, and I don't go looking for nothing. I have seen enough. I don't care. And perhaps, something kind of inspired you. Because if you did that as a kid and something is just like, let me stick my fingers in the brain of this child and throw a little demonic symbol that way. That is just weird. Thanks, I think. That was interesting. All right. Moving on. This one says, there we go. Okay, Dear Heidi, I've been searching for a group such as yours. It appears we have something in common. These shadow people, as they have been aptly named. I would also like to enlighten you, if you did not already, to a group of people who see them regularly and probably more clearly than most. Narcoleptics, like myself. As a whole of the other people I have talked to with my condition, I would say a good 95% have seen them. And I'd wager the other 5% are just too scared to admit it. Just thought you might find this interesting. And this is Chris that wrote, wow, narcoleptics? Well, think about that. So, I mean, I have had narcoleptic friends, and it's something else. They sit down, they start talking to you. They can talk. As soon as they're done talking and you start talking to them, they fall asleep. And you're like, what? Did I bore you already? No, that's just their condition. So if you're able to go between here and wherever our sleep takes us, that makes sense that they would be able to see such things. Now, as a kid, I had epilepsy, and it was a severe type that they did not think I would live to be very old or anything. So it's like, is that why I get to see all these crazy things now? Who knows? I don't have seizures anymore, which is a weird thing. I've been told over and over again. It's like, ooh, people that have that type of seizure, it travels into their adulthood, or it kills them when they're kids. I'm like, well, sorry, not falling into that category either. But yeah, so that's interesting. Definitely something to look into for narcoleptics. I ask my narcoleptic friends to say, try it again. But why wouldn't you be afraid to talk about it? I'm not surprised. It's like you're living a daytime nightmare. That's horrifying. And to see them all the time. I will tell you this, for a long time, I would see these dark things hanging off from people. And I was really tired of seeing it. I don't know. Prayer is powerful. And I tell you, I'm like, God, I don't care to see this. I know people stink and are rotten. I don't have to see the rotten stink that they're attracting to them on top of it, do I? And it's just slowly faded away, so I didn't have to see the funk anymore. Okay. Oh, God, somebody. Okay, anyways, moving on. Dear Heidi, I was reading over your webpage and theories about the Hat Man. All my life, I have encountered different situations to where I see a shadow person and or just person in general with the same characteristics to a point where people around me are seeing this certain object as well. I honestly don't remember exactly when it had started, but I started having night terrors as a child and always dreamt of a man in the characteristics you had listed below, only not in the shadow form. I can't really remember if he was pale or not, but it was just a scary thought, and still, to this day, get the chills and scared of the thought. I just remember one dream where it had all stopped with him saying his goodbyes. Well, that's good. And that he was going to leave me alone shortly after my grandmother had passed away. My family had also said as a kid in the middle of the night they would check on me, but while checking on me, they would see me talking to something in the corner of the room. Could I have been connecting with the Hat Man? A couple of years ago, my friends and I had a sleepover at my house, and I had already fallen asleep. My friend and my sister were in her room, which is a kitty corner from mine, when they had saw a tall black figure, which they had described wearing a hat and business suit type of attire, trotting to my room. Oh, trotting did it. The similar friend and had stayed the night again a month or so after the first encounter, and in the middle of the night, seeing a shadow person in front of my TV, as she immediately covered herself under the blankets praying. What could this mean? Just the thought is nerve-wracking. Could there be any way to get it out of my life? Why is it that my peers also see this shadow? Is it normal? Can there be a reason for it to follow me still to this day? It hasn't done anything to harm me all these years, so it could be just a past ancestor watching over me by chance. Oh, that's wishful thinking. I have many questions, but I will stop for now and hope for your reply soon. Thanks for taking the time to read, Heidi. God bless, Isaac. Well, okay. Well, why would he be trotting to your room? And how to get him? I guess the more important question here is how to get rid of him. And there goes that thing, that familiar thing, that the family. He said, "Oh, I'm going to stop. I'm going to leave you alone." Like, see how they lie? I'm going to leave you alone. Your mother or your grandmother's about to pass, so I'm just going to go. Well, he didn't. He came back, and he's there, horrifying you till this day. And He's not quite in your eyesight, though, which is a good thing. Others are seeing him around you. People see him around me, too. He doesn't get in my life, though. He could play around all he wants. He's not messing with my life. He's not allowed in my apartment, okay? That's all I'm saying. I go to work. People are seeing him. I'm like, well, hey. It's like they will do and try weak things to try to get your attention, to break you down, to get you to say, yeah, have a look at me, and oh, look, this is what I'm doing to you now, and oh, aren't you terrified? And no, just let him play his little games. If you want to keep him out of your life, it doesn't look like he's really doing anything to you right now. Bless your home and let him dance around. Let him dance outside. Who cares? It's all good. That type of thing. It's like, don't give him the attention and just go about your day. And why do your friends see him? So many people see him now. It's like apples. It's like, do you see an apple? Yeah, I see the apple. Okay. He's that common now. He's that much of a pain. He's just getting worse. Why it is, who knows? Is it the end times? Who knows? A lot of people hope it is. And I'm like, no, we got too much work to do. We got to save some of these bums out there who don't know any better yet. So I shouldn't say bums, but people, okay? Real life people. So, all right, moving on. I have so many here. All right, this one says, Dear Heidi, how are you? My question is, are shadow people basically demons? Yes. What is their purpose for coming around? I have seen the Hat Man many years ago. It was at night. He was really tall, around 7 foot or so. Could you explain more to me about shadow people? Would be greatly appreciated. Oh, they're dark. They're tall. They suck. I'm finding that people keep calling Hat Man shadow people. That was my mistake. I call him the Hat Man shadow. He's a different kind of guy. He does go shadowy sometimes, but he is quite solid as well. And he directs. He's a boss of these other guys. And yeah, they're demons. And if you want to know more about them, 2 big books on them I put out there. There's a lot to learn about them if you want to learn more about them. A lot of people like quick answers, and sometimes quick answers doesn't hit the spot. And you just got to put in the time and, have a read. I think I got to do an audiobook. People keep saying, I just like to hear audiobooks. Could you just put it in an audiobook? Yeah, I'll get to that, I hope. Give me a publisher to do an audiobook. I'll do it. All right. Moving on. Oh, this is so funny. People say this a lot. Hi, Heidi. Sorry to bother you. You're not bothering me. It's okay. I'm asking you to send me your emails. It's okay. But I was hoping you could help me. I was listening to your interview on YouTube about the Hat Man, as I've been seeing him for about 25 years, I think they're saying. And I just want and need to know more. I'm sorry again to bother you, but no one believes me. And I don't know where to turn to for advice and info. If you would and need to know more, just ask. Thank you again for taking the time to read this, and I look forward to your reply. Martin. Martin, who cares what people believe? The only thing is I don't like how that isolates people like yourself. It sucks, and it shouldn't be happening in this day and age. There's a lot going on out there. People believe more in UFOs than they do in God, I've heard. So they got their nerve, but screw them. You can learn about this on your own. And I'm finding a lot of people who have been terrorized for so many years that reading my book can be a little freaky to them, but also makes them feel not alone again. And there's strength in that. There's strength in knowing that and being like, I'm not just in my own psychosis, you piece of dirt. I could take you, and you do. You have to get some cupcake sprinkles of Jesus. It seems like it's such an easy remedy, and it is. The faith of a mustard seed sprinkles. Throw that at him. He will go. But yes, check out the book. It's called The Hat Man. If you want to learn all you can about the guy, the strength is knowing how to get rid of him. All right. I'm going to move on to this one. Dear Heidi, around 2 hours ago, wow, I woke up to see a shadow person staring at me. They were either on my bed or at the foot of it and leaning in towards my face. If I strain my memory, I can recall a yellow or golden color, either near its mouth or eyes. The head was average size, but I noticed it had something on that widened its head. I screamed, reached for my phone so I could light up the room, and my dad ran into the room and asked if I was okay. I've had sleep paralysis before, and strange things have happened during the episodes, but I've never seen a shadow person. What terrifies me is that I know I was awake. I am well versed in the subject and trying to cope with what I just saw. I don't know if I finally saw the Hat Man or a similar entity, but the head seemed abnormally wide. Only way I can explain it, it would be a wide-brimmed hat or super strange haircut. Ronald McDonald. Sleep is out of the question for tonight, and I'm keeping my cat close. Would love a response and any thoughts on my experience. Rudolfo. That has to be tough being a guy calling and having your dad needing to run in the room. I'm just saying. Sorry, Rudolfo. It sounds like the Hat Man. Yes, he said a wide-brimmed hat, and he was leaning in towards you. Sometimes people do describe seeing yellowish red, usually red, or no eyes, or solid black eyes, or holes for eyes. That was early on. That was disgusting. But yeah, it does sound like it. I can imagine your kitty cat may be able to defend tonight, but you got to defend for the rest of your nights and get out and start blessing your room, bless the house, whatever it takes to clear the air with that piece of crap. So he is not coming around anymore, because that is horrifying. So yes, I do believe you saw his rotten, low down, good for nothing self. I'm just going through these. I want to get through this one too. All right, dear Heidi, I just discovered you and your show, and so grateful for it. You rock. Oh, that's cool. I was wondering if any of your readers or callers, etc., had ever seen a slender woman, because I did when I was 8 years old. She was bone white, no face, wearing a red dress. Needless to say, I screamed and ran in the other direction. Only when I heard of the Slender Man and Hat Man phenomenon did I remember the encounter, though before I learned to protect myself through the Lord Jesus Christ, I would also see shadow people all the time for many years. Anyways, just curious if anyone else had seen the female version of Slender Man. And again, thank you for your fantastic work. Love and blessings, Amber. Well, that was really sweet. Thank you, Amber. Slender Woman? I have not heard of that one. Not slender. And wearing a red dress? That sounds like a distorted, kind of weird creature, ghost girl. I don't know. I've not heard of that one. Yeah, you got me. I know. I'm befuddled. I don't know what to think of that one. That's really different. I would gather that there's somebody that has experienced something similar, but I can't say that. I have heard of people seeing something out of their understanding and it seeming distorted like that. But I'm sorry, I don't know what better to say to that one. And one last one. Dear Heidi, I had a dream last night where I saw the silhouette and heard the name, the Hat Man, which cut to me tied to a stake with spirits coming at me from every angle, and him standing a few feet in front of me. I'm trying to sound this out. Then I woke up. I didn't know about him before this dream, and only through research have I found you. Does this dream mean anything? Thanks, Riley. Well, Riley, he does come in dreams. Sometimes he checks a person out that way. Sometimes he tries to break a person down that way. If you continue to have these dreams, I would be highly concerned. I would think that getting to blessing your place, getting to blessing your room, anything that you can do to stand your ground and to let him know he's not welcome. And you don't ever see me without my cross on around my neck, because when I go to bed at night, I know these things want to pounce, and it isn't happening because I got Jesus. I want to thank you all for taking the time to write me. I have hundreds more to get to. Let me tell you, I could do this forever and not get through it all. There's a lot of need out there, and we all need to take a step forward and try to help each other figure this weird stuff out. join my group, Paranormal Pledge. Take the pledge to speak about your paranormal experiences. And, I'll be back next Friday, and I'm always having fun doing this. Remember, you can catch me here every Friday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. You've been listening to me, Heidi Hollis, the Outlander. Remembering, always if it's weird, we're here. Good night, everybody.